Hello and welcome back to Pronunciation with Emma, or welcome if you're brand new to my channel. In this lesson, you're going to learn about connected speech and how to connect vowels together in English. You're going to learn the rules for linking vowels in connected speech, including the intrusive R and the linking R. We will start by briefly going through the rules of vowel-vowel connected speech, and then we will go through a story together and analyze it. If you'd like to read this story and get feedback and corrections on your pronunciation so you'll improve faster, then why not consider taking one-to-one lessons with a pronunciation teacher? The best platform I recommend to help you find your perfect pronunciation teacher is Practise. Practise makes it so easy to find a teacher who suits your schedule, your budget, and your needs. To find a teacher who focuses specifically on pronunciation, just go to the search bar and type in pronunciation, and it will bring up all the English teachers who specialize in English pronunciation. To start looking for your perfect English pronunciation teacher, just click the link down below in the description and use the code EMMA to get 50% off your first lesson. You can also download today's PDF with the story, the lesson notes, and the rules to practice with your teacher. So while you're reading the story with your teacher, they'll be able to give you personalized feedback and corrections so you can ensure that you're doing everything correctly. To download your free PDF, just click on the link in the description below this video. Now that you've downloaded your free PDF and you've booked your first lesson with your Preply teacher, it's time to go through the rules for connected speech in English. Now, usually I teach 3 rules when I talk about vowel-vowel connected speech, but in this lesson I'm going to teach you 4, and I will explain why later. So let's start firstly with what is vowel-vowel connected speech and why does it happen? In English, when a word ends with a vowel and then the next word starts with a vowel, we connect the 2 words together by inserting another sound. We do this because it makes it easier to transition from one sound to the other sound. Now let's start with rule number 1. Listen carefully to this sentence and tell me what sound I'm using to connect the 2 words together. They are late. They are late. I'm inserting a y sound there. So they are late becomes they are late. They are late. The reason for this is because the first word ends with a smiley sound. So your mouth is kind of smiling as you do it. They are. They are. Here are some more examples. Did you see it? Did you see it? See it. We add a y there because we have see it. Did you see it? Today is Friday. Today is Friday. Now for rule number 2. I'm going to say another sentence and I'd like you to think about the sound that I use to connect the 2 words together. I need to eat. I need to eat. To eat. This time I'm connecting them with a w sound. To eat. This time we're adding a w sound in between the words because the first vowel is a rounded oo vowel. So anytime your mouth is really round and really closed, like ooh, ow, oh, ooh, this kind of shape, we link it to the next vowel with a w. Here are some more examples. I need to open it. I need to open it. I need to open it. It's too early. It's too early. It's too early. Now for rule number 3. We know that with rule number 1, we link with a y sound because our mouth is smiley with the first vowel. We know with rule number 2, we link with a w because our mouth is really round and small like this. But rule number 3 has what I like to call in-between vowels. So think about it like this. Your mouth isn't smiley and your mouth isn't round like this. It's in between. For example, Emma and John. We're going to say this as Emma and John. Notice what sound I'm adding. Emma and John. I'm linking that in-between vowel, the schwa at the end of Emma, with a r sound. Emma and John. Let's practice with some more examples. I love watching Law and Order. Law and Order. So notice in order, the two R's are actually silent, but we connect law and with that r, the linking R, because the sound O, it isn't oo, it's not really small and round, and it's not E, it's not smiley, it's in between. Law and Order. I love watching Law and Order. Law and Order, by the way, is a really popular TV series, so if you like kind of legal dramas and things, then you might be interested in this. Here's another sentence. I love pizza and chips. Pizza and chips. I love pizza and chips. Please be mindful here that we are thinking of sound and not spelling. For example, if you see a word like law or draw, you may think, well, it ends with the letter W, therefore we link it with a W. But actually, if you think about the vowel sound, draw, law, it's not oo, it's not E, it's in between. So with these words, we actually link it with a R. So in a sentence, I draw every day sounds like I draw every day. And law and order sounds like law and order. And finally, we have rule number 4. This rule links very closely to rule number 3. And usually when I teach these rules, I just put rules 3 and 4 together. But in this lesson, I've separated them because I want to teach you about the intrusive R and the linking R. So rule number 3 looked at the intrusive R. Now we're going to look at the linking R. Now in most British English accents, words that end with an R or RE have a silent R, so we don't pronounce the R at the end. For example, doctor, centre, father, far. I don't say doctor, centre, father, farm. Sounds a lot more American when I pronounce the R. In most British English accents, we don't pronounce it. It's just either a schwa or it's a long vowel sound. However, when the next word starts with a vowel sound, we actually pronounce that final R. So instead of saying, the doctor is here, we say, the doctor is here. The doctor is here. The centre of the city. The centre of the city. My father is old. My father is old. I live far away. I live far away. So all of these are examples of the linking R. So right now, maybe you're thinking, but Emma, if rule number 3 and rule number 4 both link with a R sound, then what's the difference between the intrusive R and the linking R? Why do they have 2 different names? So yes, the linking R and the intrusive R both use the R sound to connect the 2 sounds together. But the only difference is that the intrusive R is used to talk about words which do not end with an R or RE. For example, pizza. Pizza doesn't end with a R or an R, but when we say it in a sentence, we say pizza and chips. It's like intruding is that R sound. It's sneaking in there. While the linking R is used to talk about words which do contain the letter R or RE. For example, far, far away. Now we're just simply pronouncing that R because we're linking it to the next vowel sound. While reading, I'd like you to think about the sounds that we use to connect the words together. Then afterwards in the analysis, you can check your answers. Remember, you can download the free PDF version of the story if you'd like to make notes as we go along. A trip to London. One sunny day in Oxford, Emma and John decided to go on a day trip to London. They wanted to eat lots of tasty food and see all the amazing sights. Come on, let's go, John said, putting his things into his bag. I'm ready, Emma replied. They set off and made their way to the train station, which wasn't too far away from their home. Luckily, they arrived just in time to catch their train. After a few hours, they arrived in the centre of London. They started by visiting the Tower of London and walking around the area. John wanted to take a picture of Big Ben, so Emma and John walked down the river towards it. After seeing some of the amazing sights around London, they decided to eat something inside a cute little restaurant. Emma ordered some pizza and chips, while John ordered some spaghetti and bread rolls. After eating, they decided to see a few more of the sights before heading back home. While on the train heading back to Oxford, Emma and John looked at the amazing photographs they had taken that day. They agreed to visit London again soon. Now we're going to analyse this story together, and I will explain the rules as I go along. So let's start with the first sentence. We have one sunny day in Oxford. We're going to link this with a y sound. So the symbol we're using is this. It's the same y as in yes. Y, y, y. Sunny day in Oxford. Emma and John. Emma and John. We're going to link these with a r. Emma and John decided to go on. Go. It's very round there. Go on a day trip to London. They wanted to eat. Very round. To eat. Lots of tasty. There's a fly. Lots of tasty food. And see y'all. See y'all. The amazing. Now I'm really exaggerating here, but naturally it would sound like they wanted to eat lots of tasty food and see all the amazing sights. So you notice that y sound there. We're basically saying it at the start of the next word. So day in, Emma, go on, to eat, see your. The amazing. Add that linking sound to the beginning of the next word. Next we have, come on, let's go, John said, putting his things into his bag. Now you may be thinking, Emma, I've got you here because there's a and that's not a vowel. No, it's not a vowel. But with this particular word here, what we can do is we can weaken it when we're speaking quickly. So instead of saying into his bag and making it very strong, we weaken this and just say is. Into his bag. Into his bag. Putting his things into his bag. Because we have removed that h sound, we're then just left with the vowel. So we connect the two vowels together, into his bag. Then we have, they set off and made their way to the train station, which wasn't too far away. So here it's just a linking R. If we go back up here with Emma and John, this is the intrusive R. Why is this the intrusive R? Because Emma isn't spelt with an R. Down here though, far away, we do have the letter R. So this is the linking R. Pronounced the same way, we still link with a R, but we're following slightly different rules here. So we say, wasn't too far away from their home. Then we have, they arrived. Luckily, they arrived just in time. They arrived just in time. After a few hours, so few, we got that ooh, very round sound, few hours. And here you might be thinking, again, Emma, but there's an H here. Why? Why are we linking with a W? Again, we need to think of sound here. We're not looking at the spelling. So here, hours actually starts with ow, ow. It's a vowel sound. This is silent. I'm going to say this is H. Of course it's an H. But it's silent. It's a silent letter. So after a few hours, they arrived in the centre of, we're just using that linking R, centre of London. They started by visiting the Tower of London, around the area and walking around the area. So add that R at the end here, Tower of, walking around the area, John wanted to take a picture of Big Ben. So Emma and John walk down the river towards it. Here we've got the linking R, just spat on my laptop. We've got the linking R because we actually have we have the letter R. Here it's the intrusive R because there's no R in the spelling. Yeah, it's just Emma. It's just a schwa. Emma and John. After seeing some of the amazing sights around London, they decided to eat something inside a cute little restaurant. Emma ordered intrusive R because we have the schwa here, so relaxed in between kind of sound. Emma ordered, this one here is actually silent, yeah, and it's just one vowel. Ordered. This is also silent. Emma ordered some pizza and chips. Notice as well, it's not related to this lesson, but notice I'm not saying pizza and chips. I'm not saying the D. I can cut it, yeah? Pizza and chips. And here, spaghetti, we're smiling, spaghetti and bread rolls. Here we can remove this again, spaghetti and bread rolls. After eating, they decided to see a few more of the sights before heading back home. While on the train heading back to Oxford, Emma and John looked at the amazing photographs so here again, we're doing what we did before. We're not saying they had taken that day, where it's all stress, strong, okay? We're using the weak form here. So had is the strong form, but ud with the schwa, it looks like the same letter, but that's a D, and that's a schwa. Ud, they'd. Photographs they had taken that day. Because we now remove this H, and we just have ud, we have the vowel sound there, so we link the two vowels together. They had taken that day. Then our final sentence, they agreed. They agreed to visit London again soon. So as I mentioned before, a little trick is to add that linking sound to the beginning of the next word. So, day in Oxford, Emma and John. Go one. We're adding those linking sounds to the start of the next word, and this makes it sound much more natural. So let's now read through one more time. A trip to London. One sunny day in Oxford, Emma and John decided to go on a day trip to London. They wanted to eat lots of tasty food and see all the amazing sights. Come on, let's go, John said, putting his things into his bag. I'm ready, Emma replied. They set off and made their way to the train station, which wasn't too far away from their home. Luckily, they arrived just in time to catch their train. After a few hours, they arrived in the centre of London. They started by visiting the Tower of London and walking around the area. John wanted to take a picture of Big Ben, so Emma and John walked down the river towards it. After seeing some of the amazing sights around London, they decided to eat something inside a cute little restaurant. Emma ordered some pizza and chips, while John ordered some spaghetti and bread rolls. After eating, they decided to see a few more of the sights before heading back home. While on the train heading back to Oxford, Emma and John looked at the amazing photographs they had taken that day. They agreed to visit London again soon. And that's the end of today's English pronunciation lesson. Remember, if you'd like feedback and corrections on your pronunciation to help you improve, then book your first one-to-one lesson on Preply using the link in the description and use the code EMMA for 50% off your first lesson. Remember, you can download the free PDF with today's lesson notes and story. The link to download it is below in the description. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give this video a like, as it helps out my channel so much. And if you haven't already, then why not subscribe to my channel for weekly English pronunciation videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye bye!